The puncher. Like I said before, I think I do have more skills than...
The argument between Terence Crawford and Tank Davis is getting more intense. What started as a debate about whether Shakur Stevenson was a good opponent has turned into something much bigger. This isn't just about one possible fight. It's about how Davis views himself, how others see him, and whether his career choices align with the legacy he wants to leave behind.
He reminds you of them. Does he remind you of yourself?
I don't know. Maybe just getting in trouble with the law.
Davis has always been surrounded by controversy. Recently, he caused a stir by boldly comparing himself to the legendary Mike Tyson. This claim didn't sit well with many in the boxing world, including Crawford, who quickly fired back. "You can't compare yourself to Mike while you've been ducking," Crawford said, directly criticizing Davis's.
Come on, man, tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at.
All right. The Crawford-esque comment hit hard because it wasn't just trash talk. It was something boxing fans had been discussing for a long time. Despite his troubles, Mike Tyson fought everyone. Davis, on the other hand, has been accused of avoiding tough fights that could challenge his status at the top. That's why Crawford's words mattered. He wasn't just questioning Davis's skills, but also the way he approaches the sport as a whole.
He can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin. So tell him to come and touch.
Davis's comparison to Mike Tyson was already controversial. The lightweight star told Fight Hype, "I think I am more skilled than Mike Tyson. Big guys have never been better than little guys in terms of skills." He explained that he didn't mean any disrespect to Tyson, but the backlash was immediate. Some fans laughed it off, while others found it outrageous. Crawford's reaction took things even further. He wasn't just saying Davis wasn't on Tyson's level, but that Davis hadn't even proven himself against the best in his own...
I don't like him. That's like...
It's not your cup of tea, that's just not your...
Yeah, I don't like nothing about him. I just feel like, he just... one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security.
Davis, of course, disagrees. He believes his skills speak for themselves and doubled down on his statement saying, "Facts are facts. I have the same punching power Mike Tyson had when he was fighting, and I stand by my words. But power alone doesn't make a fighter great." Tyson's success was defined by his aggression and fearlessness. That's where the debate heats up. Has Davis truly faced the kind of challenges that justify such a comparison? That's the core of Crawford's argument.
Ever in life had more skills than smaller guys. So let's just take that out the picture. So when people think that I'm dissing Mike Tyson, I'm not dissing Mike Tyson. For sure, it's just facts.
When Mike Tyson was in his prime, he didn't carefully choose opponents to protect his record. He fought whoever was in front of him, no matter the risk. Davis, on the other hand, has been accused of avoiding fighters like Devin Haney, Vasily Lomachenko, and now Shakur Stevenson. It's no secret that Crawford has been pushing for Stevenson to get a shot at Davis, believing it's the biggest fight that can be made. But Davis has consistently downplayed the idea, saying he doesn't see Stevenson as a major challenge. Crawford and others don't buy that. If Davis is truly as great as he claims, why not prove it? That's the real issue, and the timing of this debate makes it even more intense. Instead of facing Stevenson or another top-tier lightweight, Davis's next fight is against Lamont Roach Jr., a solid fighter, but not someone seen as a real threat. For critics like Crawford, this is just more proof that Davis isn't backing up his words with action. Adding to the controversy, Tyson himself has never supported Davis's claims. While he has praised Davis in the past, he has never suggested that Davis is on his level and that silence speaks volumes. If Davis wants to be compared to Tyson, he needs to take the kind of fights Tyson did. Fights that...
He's smart. He can box.
Yes.
And he explosive. You know what I mean? But I'm saying skill-wise and in the mind, I don't think neither one of them...
The back and forth. Tension between the two camps has only added more fuel to the ongoing debate about whether Davis and Stevenson will ever face each other in the ring. Stevenson is coming off a dominant ninth-round knockout win over Josh Padley, a performance many saw as yet another display of his elite skills. Meanwhile, Davis is preparing to defend his WBA title this Saturday against Lamont Roach Jr. Both fighters are top-tier talents in the same weight class. Yet Davis has repeatedly dismissed Stevenson.
Has said that he wants to make Shakur and Tank next. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great fight. I think that's a massive fight at that. If Eddie Hearns can pull that off, then...
Even boxing legends are weighing in on the potential fight, including Mike Tyson, who recently shared his thoughts on the matchup. Speaking on the It Is What It Is show, Tyson said, "Wow, that's a good fight. I'm going with Tank. It would be a very interesting fight that could bring out the best in Shakur. You have to pressure him like Tank does. Tank will bring out the best in him. Tank is just a monster." Coming from Tyson, that's a big endorsement of Davis's ability to force action inside the ring. However, Crawford isn't so sure. He believes Stevenson has all the tools not only to compete with, but also to beat Davis. According to Boxing Kingdom, Crawford has been vocal about his trust in Stevenson. A recent tweet claimed that Crawford has told multiple media outlets this week that he is confident Shakur Stevenson will defeat GervontaDavis when they fight. Stevenson has also informed his team that he wants to make the Davis fight next, assuming he defeats Josh Padley. This message was sent before Stevenson's win over Padley, meaning now the ball is in Davis's court. Yet history shows that getting Davis to agree to this fight is easier said than done. Davis has built a reputation for carefully picking his opponents, often avoiding...
All that's just okay. How can you stop people that can actually hit? No matter all that boxing, you're going to get hit.
While Davis has had impressive wins over fighters like Ryan Garcia and Leo Santa Cruz, critics argue that he has yet to face the best in the division. Names like Devin Haney, Vasily Lomachenko, and Shakur Stevenson often come up in discussions about fights that should happen, but never do. However, Davis doesn't seem to care about outside opinions, frequently responding to criticism by pointing to his undefeated record and knockout power. But here's where things get even more interesting. Saudi boxing power broker Al Heyman wants to make Davis versus Stevenson a reality. Al Heyman has been instrumental in bringing major boxing events to Saudi Arabia, and he believes this is a fight that needs to happen. Despite past issues with Davis, Heyman told ESPN, "I don't need to, like you, to speak with you. In other words, business is business, and he's ready to put personal feelings aside to make this massive fight happen."
Potential matchup in boxing you would like to see next?
I would like to see Shakur versus Devin or Shakur versus Tank. Ooh, those are the two big fights that I would like to see next.
Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson. Who wins that fight right now?
Shakur. Shakur.
Whether or not Davis and Crawford ever find themselves in the same room again remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. This rivalry has already brought plenty of drama, and the boxing world will be watching closely to see what happens next. However, it's interesting how Davis accused Terence Crawford of chasing money with the Canelo fight, when Davis himself is eyeing a big payday from Saudi Arabia for a fight with Devin Haney. Tank's recent comments about fighting in Saudi Arabia show that he's not just interested in boxing, but in luxury and status. As he put it, 2, 3, or 4 Ferraris. While Crawford's move to fight Canelo in Riyadh is considered a legacy-defining challenge, Davis's approach seems more like a negotiation for his own fantasy shopping spree. Davis's desire to negotiate with Turki Alek, the man responsible for bringing mega fights to Saudi Arabia, is already stirring controversy. During a chat on the Safe Place podcast, Davis made his demands clear. If he's going to fight Devin Haney in Saudi Arabia, the price has to be sky high. They said I would fight Devin, and then they said Devin was their chosen one, Davis explained. So now they have to pay me extra because I already know what I'm going for. His implication was loud and clear. If Haney is being promoted as the favored son of Saudi boxing, Davis isn't stepping into the
has built up for years.
Yeah, I mean, the fight has been built up for years, and at the end of the day, if he want the fight, he could have the fight because he's the WB fake champion. He's not the, he has the Mickey Mouse belt. Mickey Mouse.
Davis's comments also suggested his distrust of how boxing decisions are made when big money and big names are involved. He practically accused Saudi organizers of stacking the deck in Haney's favor, saying, "If I don't knock him out, you're going to give the fight to him." This wasn't just a jab at Haney, it was a swipe at the entire system. It's rare for a fighter to speak so openly about concerns over biased judging, especially when massive paychecks are at stake. What makes this even more ironic is Davis's past stance. Not long ago, he seemed interested in riding the wave of fighters cashing in on the...
Somebody asked Lomachenko.
All right. Turkey said he got your 2 Ferraris ready. What you think about that? Oh, Turkey said he got your 2 Ferraris ready.
I need 3 now.
Tank is singing a different tune now. His change in attitude is almost ironic. One minute, he's taking shots at Crawford's decision to fight in Riyadh. The next, he's rattling off luxury, car demands, and positioning himself for his own trip to the desert. Turkey Alex's plan of pouring astronomical sums into boxing has already attracted some of the sport's biggest names. Fury and Usyk's 2-fight series brought them record paydays, and Canelo's deal is apparently big enough to make anyone reconsider their boxing future. Davis clearly sees the dollar signs flashing, but he frames his interest as more of a demand for respect than just chasing cash. Yet, the line between earning respect and cashing in is blurring fast in this situation. With Devin Haney's name now thrown into the mix,
Oh yeah, I see what's going on. So now, give me 2 or 4 or 3 Ferraris. If not, ain't no point in me going over there for.
Haney and Davis have been circling each other for years, with fans and analysts eagerly awaiting the day they finally step into the ring together. But Tank's words make it seem like the fight wouldn't just be between him and Haney. It would be him against the entire Saudi boxing machine. His criticisms of how fights are handled in Saudi Arabia come across as both a negotiation tactic and a warning shot. He wants everyone to know that if the fight happens, he's stepping into hostile territory.
He mapped out Shakur's next 3 fights, and the third one is GervontaDavis. He must be sending not the 3 Ferraris that your boy wanted. He probably gonna send him a couple Ferrari mechanics so they can build him his own Ferrari factory.
He was being sarcastic, like he said, because, Turkey was already with Devin.
Despite the bravado and posturing, Davis did throw a small bone of honor to Turkey Alik. "I'm only thankful for the money he's put in," Davis said. But even that praise came with a caveat. He added that managers need to be smarter and know more about the sport to ensure fights are fair. It's the kind of comment that will likely stir even more controversy in a sport where money often dictates the results. Davis is essentially calling for transparency while simultaneously wanting enough cash to buy out a...
I'm be someone like Devin, talk all that trash and then overlook my opponent and then get knocked out.
Tank, Martin was really confident in this press conference today that not only is he going to secure a win, but that he's going to get a knockout. How much of that do you think is false confidence?
Question of whether Davis truly believes Haney is the favorite in the eyes of Saudi organizers. By calling Haney their chosen one, Davis may be setting the stage to discredit any potential loss before the fight even happens. It's a classic move in boxing, undermining the legitimacy of your opponent's support system so that, win or lose, you come out looking like the hero. But it's also a strategy. If Davis fights Haney in Saudi Arabia and doesn't get the knockout he's expecting, his words could come back to haunt him. The boxing world has long been a stage for heated drama. But Davis's latest comments take the spectacle to a new level. He's not just negotiating for a fight. He's negotiating...
I'm being real, so hold on.
Yeah.
When you look at, Devin Haney's situation when he went to go sue Ryan Garcia, is that... Do you...
Yeah, bitch.
Didn't mince words when discussing Davis's chances against Shakur Stevenson or Keyshawn Davis. He straight up said that Tank would suffer his first losses if he stepped into the ring with either of them. That's a bold claim, considering Davis's undefeated record and his reputation for knockout power. But Crawford isn't just talking for the sake of it. He's been in those trenches and has watched Keyshawn destroy opponents firsthand. For him, knockout power alone won't be enough to get the job done against fighters who are as mentally tough and smart as Shakur and Keyshawn.
Fight Tank. Stop mentioning other people when I mention your fighter. What you talking about, boy? Like, don't play with me, bro. Y'all know how I'm coming. Tank, if you wanna fight, send me a contract, bro. Tank, you know.
TerenceDavis sounded just as bold, even comparing a possible fight with Tank to the brutal beatdown Crawford handed Errol Spence Jr. last year. That's not just confidence, it's a statement of war. Keyshawn sees himself as smarter and sharper, both inside and outside the ring, claiming that Davis has nothing but his one-punch knockout power to rely on. Keyshawn is confident he's already a better fighter than what the world has seen from him so far. That kind of talk puts real pressure on Gervonta to prove Keyshawn wrong.
Can crack their Gervonta code?
Gervonta can be beat easily, man.
Ooh.
Yeah, we hear you say he could be beat easily. Why?
Yeah, he could be beat easily because he's just a basic type of dude with a lot of power. If you know boxing like I know boxing, you can take away that power from you. You know what I'm saying? Young fella.
Shakur Stevenson, who's been chasing Tank for what feels like forever. He's fed up. The way he talks, it's clear he doesn't believe Gervonta has any intention of ever stepping into the ring with him. Shakur doesn't hold back, calling Gervonta a weird human being and saying he doesn't respect him. If that's not fuel for a future fight, what is? He also made a point to say that Turkey Alec could easily make this fight happen, basically daring Davis to take the deal. The ball's in Tank's court, and Shakur knows.
I thought he was a tremendous talent. I still think he is. And I think he'll beat any lightweight with the possible exception of Keyshawn Davis.
That's a fight we probably will never see, huh?
That's neither guy.
But Tank's next test is Lamont Roach on March 1st in Brooklyn. Everyone's watching to see how he performs, as this fight could set the tone for what's coming next. If Tank steamrolls Roach, the pressure will build for him to finally take on one of the division's champions. And let's not forget that Vasily Lomachenko is back in the mix. Davis's team approached Lomachenko last year, but he was taking a break from fighting at the time. Now that Loma is back, it looks like he could be Gervonta's next target. That fight alone would be a blockbuster event, given Loma's slick skills and his status as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters when he's at his peak.
9th round.
What?
I say 9th round.
You said 9th?
Yeah.
What's your response to that, Lamont?
Look, he got scared. Look. He looked at night.
I'm telling him, you saying you going down in a night? You know that power curry.
However, there's another layer to all of this. Tank's hunger for big paydays is clear. He's openly talked about negotiating with Turkey Alec to fight in Saudi Arabia, demanding at least 4 Ferraris before even considering the deal. While some might think that's just Tank being Tank, others see it as a sign of how the game is changing. Saudi Arabia's deep pockets are shifting the power dynamics in boxing, and Davis knows it. He's playing hardball, but with so much money on the table, who's to say Turkey won't meet his demands? The irony in all this is hard to ignore. Just a little while ago, Tank threw shade at Terence Crawford, accusing him of chasing money. Yet here he is, publicly holding out for luxury cars and mega purses.
So I think he was like 17. I wasn't that much older than him. I think we probably like 3 years older, apart, but I feel as though he slowed down. All that partying.